Okay. Thank you. We are recording. Okay. First, as I was about to say, thank you, everyone. We had to pivot, day 3 of the fall semester, and all of a sudden, new orders. So I want to say thank you to all of the faculty who, again, had to go off and put more stuff online than they thought, or delay their hybrid courses, their meetings. So I know it's a struggle, truly. And all of you who, put your services back 100% online, thank you. And the library and Copico for staying open and making sure that our students had access to a quiet place if they needed it. All of that is really, really appreciated by everyone. And we don't know what tomorrow will bring, or next week, or next month, or next semester, but being able to adapt is going to be our strong suit. So thank you for that. Speaking of spring, we are looking at scheduling spring the way fall was scheduled this time. So as much as going backwards from face-to-face to online is really a difficult task to do it right. So we would prefer to put as much online as possible as we schedule for spring. And that schedule is going to get put together quite soon by your department chairs. So we hope to make spring look like what fall does now. Okay. We are still waiting for the governor to release the budget. So we have no updates on the allocation or appropriation, to the university. We don't know any more than we did last week or last month. I believe the governor has until September 12th to review and consider his budget, and we should know by then, I would hope. And speaking of budget, thank you to all of those faculty and staff members who contributed to the budget committee's big ideas, which were shared with the CIC members and friends earlier today. So I expect that department chairs and unit heads will be sharing that further with the constituents. So Aaron Hanai, Shannon Sakawe, Brandon Markiga, Raphael Loeb, Kapulani Landgraf, Annie Thomas, Grant Itomitsu, Jerry Enokawa, and Lisa Kanai. I want to let you guys know that that list of big ideas that you folks generated was shared with Erica and the other chancellors and was used as the standard. So the message was, well, you guys go out and do what Kapiolani did. Try to do that. It's really good. And the other campuses hadn't quite gotten traction as we did. So that's all thanks to you for making yourselves available and for brainstorming some really compelling ideas, which we'll share and discuss a little bit further with CAC on Tuesday next week. And speaking of data, thank you to Staff Council. They shared with me a survey that was done in August, asking the staff for how things went, so that it's kind of a parallel survey. We surveyed the faculty, we surveyed the students, and Staff Council took the initiative to survey the staff on their responses to what's been happening with COVID-19 and all of our campus responses. So thank you for that. And I'm hopeful that the Staff Council will allow me, because I haven't checked with Raphael, I didn't even ask him yet, but I would like to share that survey more widely, or the Staff Council can share it with CAC. That would be great. Let's see. Strategic planning is going to be starting, and those 5 questions that were the 5 questions that you were asked to consider, and for which many responses were submitted. Thank you so much. We also shared that with the CAC members and friends, and so those should be shared more broadly with constituents. We are going to be looking at those with the CAC on Tuesday, and I know that some of what is shared in there will be points of departure for what we do for strategic planning. And so there'll be more conversation about the strategic planning process on Tuesday's CAC. It's kind of like a must-be place on Tuesday next week is the CAC. A couple of other things. We the system, the system has opportunities for funding through the city and county, which has CARES money for short-term programs, which are October to December. That's how short the programs have to be. If you have ideas for training people that are longer than October to December, it's unfortunate they can't be funded through this effort, but the system is going in for, I think, $3 million. And that proposal is in the last stages of review and approval. Carol Hoshko from our campus has been coordinating our submissions, and it's basically health and cyber security and IT. Other campuses are putting forward other kinds of training opportunities. So we're hopeful that that's going to happen, and it's going to hit the ground really soon. City and county says there are 4,000 excuse me, 4,000 people that need to be trained. So we can't possibly do all of that ourselves. And so it is Oahu-wide training, but the neighbor island campuses, if the training is online, can contribute also. We have also through DBED an opportunity to serve as a host company, that we would be a host company for interns. They are looking to place displaced workers through internships in emerging fields. Some of those are that are relevant to us: technology, food, STEM. I think those are the ones that were most relevant, because we don't do aerospace and other kinds of things, but we have an opportunity to submit our names as a host company to accept an intern. And I believe that there's at least one program that might be willing to accept an intern as part of their program activities. Now, understanding that if we accept an intern, we have to supervise the intern. So it's not just, hey, I'm going to get free help. Hal, you've raised your hand. What would you like to ask or say? Hal. Did you want to unmute yourself, Hal? Or maybe put it in the chat. I see it says Hal raised hand. He might be typing. Okay, we'll come back when we see what Hal is wanting to say. Thanks, Dave. Let's see. Oh, there are anniversaries listed today. I'll put the link in the chat if I can find my keyboard. Hold on a second. So these are service anniversaries. And Martin Chong, Keala Loesch, Kevin Andrushak, May Kealoha, Jean Carrero, and Karen Boyer are listed on that site for years of service. So congratulations to you again for hanging in with the university. So if you do go to that website, you'll see that there are, I think, about 4 people who are being recognized for 50 years of service to the university, or the state, actually, I should say. And Brandon Mark just put something in there about, what is this? Internship program, okay. Applicants will be asked. Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, I think at this point, if there are questions about anything I've said, feel free to put it in the chat or unmute yourself. That's fine too. And then I'll leave it up. I'll open it up for the rest of the admin team. Questions, anyone? Okay. No, Al, did you want to update some folks on some things?
Yeah, just a real quick update. Your students who have applied this CARES funding, this is the funding that the deadline was July 31st. They should have already been starting to get their $500 credited to their account. If you encounter any students who have questions, send them to this email, preferably in this order. If you could do cc8@hawaii.edu, if they could ask there about the funds. If not, they can also email our office at CAPVCSA, and then we can kind of give them a timeline. Most of the funding should probably be going out within the next 2 weeks, so it should be there soon enough. And then as soon as we finalize the next steps, we will probably be doing another CARES money disbursement. We're anticipating it to be October, but as soon as those are finalized, I can share with the campus. So if students did not get CARES funding this round, or maybe they need more money, we'll be doing hopefully the final round in October. Hopefully we disperse all the money by then, but that should be coming around soon. So stay tuned for those details. And that's all I got. Any questions?
I've got a quick question,
Okay.
but this question is a little late in coming. It was just a question about scheduling for the spring. Would it be appropriate to schedule face-to-face and then be prepared to go remote?
The other way,
The other way, okay. Thank you.
easier. Easier and more, probably more accurate, because we just don't know right now.
Thank you.
Pat Gilbert just let us know there's 339 new cases, so it's not trending in the right direction for sure. Okay. Anyone else have? Hal still raised his hand. He must be typing a novel. Hal, did you want to say something? Okay, this might be like the quickest campus Zoom ever.
Louise,
Yes?
in line with what Guy asked, the deans and I met yesterday and we decided to roll over the spring 2020 schedule without the faculty and without the classrooms. So it's going to be easier for the department chairs to do the scheduling for spring 2021. And also the class availability is going to be live. It's going to go live on October 15. This registration starts November 9. So that's the timeline that we're looking at. And as you said, as much as possible, go online, please. We don't want to go through what we had to do for the fall schedule.
Right. So as of today, we are at 6,454 students for fall, and that is a 1.8% drop, which given the situation is amazing, actually, because we haven't seen a 1% drop in a long time. For the last maybe 6 or 7 years, we've been at 2%, 3%, 5%, and now just 1%. So that's great. Dave Evans would like the dates again. So October 15 is go live and November 9 is registration. Is that right, Maria? Did
Yes.
I get it right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Shannon says 2,470 new students. Okay, it's amazing. It really is. We had 6,488 last year, and we're almost there. And we're 8 students bigger than we were. Just saying. Okay, we got to keep those 8 now. Total enrollment as of today, per the IRO website, 6,454. And the only 2 campuses in the system that have a positive enrollment growth are, 3 campuses, sorry. Manoa at 3.2 more, West Oahu has 3% more, and Kauai is 5.2% more. And they're at 1,458. Thanks, Angela, reminding people about registering for the federal elections. Very important. Yeah, best. And if you guys go to the IRO website, feel free to go into what's called DAPIR. And there's a ton of reports that you can see and manipulate also reports and data. It's quite fun. And if you, I think, sign in with your UHID, you have access to more. Yeah, Carol's asking about Erica visit. So we have invited Erica LaCroix, our Vice President for Community Colleges, and Mike Unibasami to the campus. There'll be a link and going out as soon as we finalize the Zoom. It will be September 10th at 1 o'clock, and we will be sure to allow for more than 300 people to sign in.
September 15th at 1.
I'm sorry, say it again, Joanne.
September 15th at 1?
Oh, September 10th is the strategic plan, sorry. Thank you, thank you. September 15th at 1 o'clock. There'll be a announcement that will go out to everybody with the Zoom link as soon as we finalize that. And they will be painting the overall picture of the situation, the economic situation, as well as the UH's positioning in there. Okay, I don't know how the blood must have drained all the way out of his arm into his armpit by now with his hand up all this time. Dave, are you in any kind of contact with Hal where you might ask him what his question was? If you can text him and see if he's okay. All of a sudden he's fallen off the planet.
No, I don't have any contact with him, sorry. But if you put your hand up and you only click it once, it'll stay up for a long time. You have to click it again to go away.
Oh. Okay. Anyone else? Oh. Thanks, David. The student wants to practice Google Doc. Wants to practice Google Doc. Then make a Google Doc message. Long question. Yeah, David, try ask. Unmute. Can students go someplace to practice Laulima tools before registering for the class and seeing those tools? Ah, there you go. Shannon got the answer. Terrific. And a Zoom tutorial. Okay. I think we can just sit down and watch the Zoom chat quietly. No. Yeah, tourism is pretty abysmal. Let me ask Dave Evans a question. Dave, what are you hearing from your industry colleagues about what's happening to hospitality these days?
Yeah, well, nothing good, obviously. I think the last real big chunk of news that we got was a conference or a workshop, seminar, whatever it was, a couple of months ago. So it was a couple of months ago. And we had a number of the economists jump in with us, talk about where they see the recovery. And, a couple of things that we try to do is we look back at previous times. We look back to 2001 with 9/11. We look back to 2008 and 2009, and try to use some of those recovery periods as a path, to where we might be. But this is so not to overuse the word unprecedented, but it's so different that it's very difficult to come up with any kind of solid predictions. You're right about the numbers. I don't see the relaxation of the quarantine or opening of the trans-Pacific travel anytime soon. Even the recent shutdown that we just experienced, I mean, they talked about 2 weeks, and even that seems unrealistic to me at this point. The one thing I took away from the workshop or the seminar that we attended was they were really talking it's going to take us easily 3, 4, 5 years to get back to where we even were now. I think the only thing we tried to take away from 2008 and 2009 and 2001 was, Hawaii still is a very attractive destination. And I'm sure you guys feel it all, as you feel it yourselves as well too. We're all getting kind of stir crazy. And there's going to be, as there was what we saw in 2001, especially a real pent up demand. And 2008, 2009 as well, pent up demand. People were willing or ready to go when things, got better. But the problem is just not knowing when this quiets down at all. And it's one thing to try to contain this within our own state or within our own island, but then when you start opening up to the outside, that's how we got into this situation in the first place. I think some of the reasonable conversations that seems to have taken place is that we do start to have an understanding of travel bubbles. In other words, are there destinations, are there places that may be safer for us to accept visitors from earlier on, kind of like, visas and, different sort of international waivers that we look at for different things. But I think one of the ironies to me was New York, that would have been one of the real epicenters for this pandemic and really was having a very difficult time, kind of put us on the no-fly list as well too. And said people coming from Hawaii, no, we're not, and I thought, wow, there's the ultimate sort of indication that things are not going well for us here in Hawaii. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that really answers, your question. And just to get on the soapbox for just a quick second, I think this always reminds us of sort of this love-hate relationship we have with tourism. It was easy back with 10 million people to say, oh my God, too many, awful, bad. And of course, now it's going to take us probably another 4 years to get back, to 10 million, and then we'll be complaining again. But until then, it's like, what can we do to bring visitors back? It does bring, the idea up of diversifying our state, the economy, which we've been talking about for a million years, haven't gotten there yet, which is, a big part of the discussions I think we're having with some of the strategic planning conversations is what we listed in, those 5 questions for the, for the strategic plan. Is obviously, I think, educational institutions are going to play a major role in the workforce recovery.
Yeah.
We see that, we hope to see that will play a big role in that recovery as well. What we also, of course, saw in 2008, 2009 is when the economy tanked, people came back to school.
Yeah.
So back to the conversation about what's the governor going to do. I mean, I think our position needs to be that we are part of the solution, not necessarily, time to cut us back or, time.
Yeah.
Wish we had a better crystal ball, and we certainly don't.
I think that's probably, at least for me, it's one of the more frustrating and challenging aspects of this is that there is so much uncertainty. We just don't know when this is going to be over or what it's going to look like on the other end, because I think no matter what, even if tourism rebounds, it won't be the same kind. But we just don't know even what that new kind is going to be exactly. So it's an opportunity to think differently, to think big, especially for the programming that we have here. What is it that, what kind of a place is Hawaii going to be for the next 5 years and going forward? And what is it that we do? As Dave points out, higher ed is going to be a big part of that solution. But crafting that forward motion is, I think, the biggest opportunity for us right now, and to think through. And I've said it multiple times, and because I'm from Canada, we do a lot of things with ice hockey, and Wayne Gretzky said, the great one said, you have to go where the puck is going to be. So we have to figure out, where is the puck going to be in 5 years, and that's where we're going to put ourselves. Any formal efforts at the state level? I'm not aware, Pat, of, I don't sort of fly in those circles at the state, but I'm pretty sure there's a resilience officer and there's all kind of people. I'm sure DBED is looking at these things, but Erica LaCroix, when she comes, she may be talking about that kind of stuff because she flies in those circles.
And just
Okay.
maybe one more comment. I think Carol is on here, or was on here earlier. One of the things that we've sort of been thinking about in this workforce return to recovery is that we think the lines between credit and continuing ed are going to blur, or should blur. Maybe they should blur.
Yeah.
I think in host, we've talked about this. I've been around for 26, 27 years. I think we've talked about it for 26 and 27 years. Is, to a certain extent, it would be great if we could have our credit faculty be the ones that are delivering, some of these things. And I'll pick an example. We have Amy Sharoma, 27 years in the hospitality industry. She's in the process of buying a brand new computer program that everybody uses in the industry. And this again could be something that gets people back to work, could get some skills upgrades for some folks. And we could be a great asset to the industry to be that training source for people to say, you don't need to worry about it, come to us. But, that then creates a demand on Amy to, either do this as a separate, contract with them, or somehow, it becomes part of her teaching. And that's just one example. So,
Yeah.
I think that's what, the industry is going to need. We don't need another 2-year program. I mean, that you meet for 16 weeks and you meet, 2 times a week. We need somebody that can come in for 3 weeks and get some stuff and move on. So anyway.
Yes, Dave. This is Carol, and my response to that is absolutely yes. Not only on this campus has that discussion been very lively about collaboration with credit, and that our first choice we want to check with credit faculty and the departments first, if faculty are available to teach. For example, for some of the IT and the Python and cybersecurity things that we propose to the city and county, we were checking with the credit faculty to see if they could do a closed class cohort, in that short time frame. And so that's where we're looking at that collaboration, and likewise with other content areas, we would do the same. And then at the system level, because we're working with the other campuses, they're doing the same thing too, where we don't see that boundary between credit and non-credit, that we see that, we're going to just act as one entity and, deliver, the best product we can and go to one of our best sources, which are the faculty on our campuses.
Okay, thanks. Future direction. Let's get rid of CR and TE and replace with LLD, learning and living the. Oh, okay. Guy, you're such a revolutionary. There's all kinds of things, forget the semesters, forget grades, narrative assessments, competency-based education, learn as you go, pay one time for the semester, take as many classes as you can finish. There's all kinds of things that we can do. Were we a standalone liberal arts college? But we'd have to we'd have to have an educational bubble, and within the bubble, we would be able to do anything we wanted to do and try it out and see what happens. I'd be okay. Let's advocate for that. All right, gonna shut down this Wednesday Zoom, you guys, unless there's one last thing somebody's desperate to say. Don't hear it. Okay, everybody. CAC is next week, Tuesday. So if I don't see you before then, have an excellent extra long weekend. Do take time to do the things that bring you joy this weekend. There is no other break until election day. There's a question. See, there's always a question. Are we opening up next week after the 9th? I cannot say. I don't make that call. We pay attention to what the governor, the mayor, and the president of the university say. Right now, the stay-at-home order ends on September 9th. Crystal ball is broken. Yep. Thanks, Roman. Had a great summer event for the students. Oh, good. Today, oh my. Please share with your students if they want to meet other people. That's the hardest part about going back to college in the COVID era, is you don't have all kinds of big face-to-face kind of things. Thanks, Roman. Okay, you guys, I see you next week, Wednesday, if not before. Happy Labor Day. Don't labor on Labor Day. Relax. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Say goodbye. Unmute. Say goodbye. Bye.
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 Wear your mask.